I don't know, right? Are any of those people correct? The answer is no. It's not a 3-day weekend. It is, but it isn't. It started in 1971. I'll give you some history here in a minute, but it's not just a 3-day weekend. It's not a time where we honor those who have served in the military. We have other days for that. I don't know isn't really an answer, and the first day of summer isn't until June. It's actually the somberest of holidays in the secular part of America. And that is because it's the day that we have our freedom. I put on the other side of the sign as you leave out there today, Memorial Day. It's not about fun. It's about freedom. And I believe as a country, and I'll tie this right into our Lord as well this morning when I get into that part of the message, that we forgot about Memorial Day. We've lost the memorials. We've lost the thought of what has happened. Anybody want to take a guess? I'll get a little bit ahead of myself. How many soldiers died to bring us our freedom? Anybody have a guess? If you read the sign coming in today and you have a good memory, you know. Okay? Anybody have a guess? 400,000. Okay? That's not even one war. 1,354,664 soldiers. Think about that. 1.3, almost 1.4 million people have died. And I'll show you some numbers here that we may have the freedom that we have in this country. We have spiritual freedom. We have secular freedom to do things. We can meet here today. We can talk about what we want to talk about here today. We have that freedom that's here. Many nations don't experience this. But it's really a day we think about those who paid the ultimate price. The ultimate price for us. If you've ever been to a national cemetery, by the way, before the Civil War, there were no national cemeteries. But when you lose 500,000 people in one war, all of a sudden you have national cemeteries. And I know I've been to Arlington. Anybody else here been to Arlington National Cemetery? Just an amazing, have you guys been? Yeah. You know, it's just an amazing thing to look at and to see row after row after row of those graves that are there. I remember I heard about John F. Kennedy, his nephew, Robert Kennedy Jr., was talking about what happened in November of 1963, and he said his uncle pretty well knew he wasn't coming home from Dallas, but he said he remembered his uncle taking a trip to Arlington National Cemetery, and he's looking, he says, I never want to leave this place. Well, he's buried at National Cemetery. He is there, but there's another large national cemetery down outside of Dayton, a number of them around the country, and it's a somber sight to think about all those that were there, yet we seem to be tearing down our monuments and tearing down our remembrance. And I'm going to get into Joshua today and speak to us about the monuments we should have in our lives. Monuments are there for a reason, but just a little history for the day. It was the spring of 1865, and the Civil War was coming to a close. What a bloody war it was. It claimed more lives than any other war in U.S. history. And it required the first national cemeteries. And in towns around the country, people were having observances with flowers that they'd take to the graves. They would have little cookouts and things like that to remember. It was a very somber time, but there was no national holiday. But they would decorate the graves of the soldiers, and there would be prayers.